Hello, hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of the Cloud Show. Today, we're going to talk about how to take a bunch of technology like cloud tech and others and turn it into the foundation of a startup. So today is all about startups, and we're going to talk to a tech expert. We're going to talk to an awesome person who knows about startups and is going to tell you all about it. So the star of the show today is Anjuli. Hello there. Welcome to the
Hi,
Cloud Show.
thank you, thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm still recovering a bit from a festival this weekend, but I'm
Ooh,
alive.
intriguing. Well, so other than festivals, tell the audience just briefly, who are you? Where are you? And what are you up to?
Yes, hi. I'm Anjuli Jhakry. I'm a .NET developer in my day-to-day life. I'm also an MVP now in two categories since 2 weeks now, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, really happy about it. And I'm also a speaker, so I'm at a lot of tech conferences in Europe and in the Netherlands. I am from the Netherlands. Yeah, so I work 4 days a week for .NET, which is a consultancy
Mm-hmm.
um, company. And
Mm-hmm.
besides that, I'm working on my own startup.
Nice. And the
Yeah.
startup is what we're going to talk about specifically today. So now we know
Yes.
we know where you are, who you are, where you work, that you like festivals. So I mean, it's a good
Yes.
start. We're off to a great start. That's perfect. Right. So very welcome to the Cloud Show. And I wanted to talk to you and connect with you about startups because you and I were
Yes.
talking about that last time when we met. And I said, hey, this is going to be a good episode for the Cloud Show to talk about tech, of course, but in the context of setting up and running a startup.
Yeah.
Tell me briefly, like what is the startup? What are you going to do, and how did you come up with that idea?
Well, I'm building an app for people with food allergies and food intolerances, now targeted for the Netherlands at first. And it's an app where you can find products and you can find if it contains allergens that you cannot eat, or you can just like give an evaluation if you can or cannot eat it. You can also add. There's also a diary where you can enter what you have eaten, and then it can find patterns. For example, there are a lot of people who are feeling sick after they've eaten a lot of things all day and they don't know what it is. Um,
Mhm.
you can then enter what you've eaten for a while, and then it will try to guess what you could possibly be getting sick of. So yeah, um, that's what I'm building. Um, and I started with it because well, I used to be able to eat everything that I wanted to eat always until I was 19, and then I started to get really really sick. And
Mm.
after months of going to the hospital and doing tests, they found out that I have two food intolerances. So I have lactose and fructose intolerance. And lactose is everything that contains milk, basically,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fructose is all things with vegetables and fruits and yeah, everything that contains a high doses of natural sugars, basically. So
Okay.
that suddenly gave me like an enormous list of things I couldn't eat, and if you're not used to it, it's kind of hard. And I couldn't
Of
find an
course.
app that suit yeah that suited my needs in that
Mhm.
way to have like a personal list of everything that I cannot eat. So
Right.
that's where it came from. And yeah,
So now you eat steak and drink alcohol. Is that it?
I just eat steak and fries, and I only drink alcohol. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Perfect
Perfect.
solution.
Sounds like the
Don't
life.
need
Where can
exactly.
I sign up for this? I'm kidding. Joke. Joke. Sorry. Having an allergy is a serious business. All right. All right. All right. So, I mean, that's how many of the best ideas get started, right? You have a personal connection to it, some reason, and this was like you had there was a gap. You
Yeah,
you wanted to know like what can I eat this,
yeah,
and you couldn't find out. So that's a brilliant
exactly.
brilliant way of getting started with it. So startup, you're like all of a sudden I'm going to build an app, and then then you figured out like, okay, I'm going to turn this into a startup. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, at first I was kind of playing around with the idea because when I got sick, it was before I started uh, computer science. So I had to take two in between years. before I could actually start with computer science. And then, well, I had to do computer science before I knew how to learn to make apps.
Fair enough.
And then besides studying, I also built apps for other people as like part-time job. So then I kind of got the hang of it, of all the things that
Of
are
course.
necessary to know to build an app for the real world.
Mhm.
Um, and also with school project, I tried different ideas. And at the last year of my study, I had a course where I could completely build the app with support from teachers, and where I also had to validate my ideas. So I had multiple groups of people with allergies, with intolerances, that I could ask things about my app, if they would like it, if
Smart.
they wouldn't, and if they were willing to pay for it, things like that. And everybody was so enthusiastic about it
Mm-hmm.
that gave me the incentive of, okay, maybe I should really make this a product and build something professional out of it. Because yeah, at
Oh,
first I was just building it for myself, but now I thought
yeah,
I
right. That's a
should do
great
it for
story. So you
everyone.
have like a reference group now with people who are
Yeah.
your sort of guinea pigs for your.
Yes. Exactly.
I tried
Yeah.
to. Oh, sorry, got it wrong. Did you get an allergic reaction? Too bad.
No, it's all on your own risk. Everybody should still read like the label on the on the packages. I'm not
Yeah,
a
but
single
so
source of
can
truth.
people who are using the app register things then? I mean, if they find something or.
Yeah, yeah, they
Oh,
can. Well, they can find it, and if it's not there, they can ask for it, and then I can just find it and put it in my database. But they
mm-hmm.
say they can also like put a custom evaluation. So of course, the app is basing all the evaluations on what
Mm-hmm.
you can and cannot eat. But for example,
Mm-hmm.
with lactose intolerance, every person that has lactose intolerance responds differently to each product. So I know
Uh-huh.
people who cannot eat any cheese at all, but I can eat some kinds of cheese. So
Oh,
you,
okay.
in my app, you have like this freedom of deciding of each product, how it fits your needs, if you
Oh,
can eat
that
it or
makes
not.
sense. That makes sense. I like that. I like the idea, and then it fills, like you said, it fills a gap, and then it fills an important function in society. I mean, if there wasn't really a good app for it, and somebody like you would be able to find out, and if you can find it, then it probably wasn't there. So it's very cool. Um, so what has been challenging on this road here? Like you both as in starting a startup, of course, if there are any particular things that jumps out, but also in technology. I mean, you have to have a pretty solid tech stack for this to set this up. You need databases and things.
Yes, I do. So I built I built the app in .NET MAUI,
Yeah.
um, and I have an API behind it in .NET. And I used to have a Cosmos DB database, but it's expensive, sometimes complicated. So and so I changed it for a MongoDB database.
Mhm,
It's, yeah,
mhm,
both document store.
mhm.
And I used to have Entra ID as a authentication provider, but I switched to Firebase because also it was easier and more reliable, which is kind of going against my
Yeah,
beliefs
right.
of being an
Against your
MVP.
programming.
I know, I know.
But
It was a hard
that's great
choice.
experiences. Like if somebody like you struggles with certain tech, then
Yes,
as the tech provider, they would most certainly want to know exactly what your problems are, right?
exactly. Yeah. Well, I did communicate some of my problems with the Entra
Mm,
external ID team,
yeah.
because yeah, it's like I cannot use this. For example, I had one of my testers saying that he had to wait for 1.5 hours to get his OTP code to be
Oh
able
no.
to log in. Yeah, so that was,
You're gonna be very hungry at that time, right? Like
yeah.
if you're waiting for it to check if you can eat something for an hour and a half, and it's like I'm super hungry now.
Exactly. So it's not ideal. So that's why
No.
I switched to to Firebase. But yeah, I think one of the things that were difficult for me, because, well, I'm a developer at first. Um, so what you do as a developer, you want to build everything perfectly. Um,
Hmm.
that was one of the first struggles I'm still facing it, to be honest. It's just a learning curve every time. So I took way too long to build the first testing
Version.
MVP, kind of, yeah,
Mm.
the MVP version,
Hmm.
because every time I was like, okay, maybe I'm done, but I don't think my code base looks nice. And then I was like refactoring my code base, and then I went to a conference and I heard about vertical slicing architecture, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So then I refactored my code base again to match the vertical slice architecture. Not that anybody who uses my app soon is gonna see
They don't care.
what my code
Yeah.
looks like, but
Oh.
because you're a developer, you're just constantly trying to make things better, and you want to do everything perfectly. Also, it's the
That makes
same with
sense. Yeah.
API services in Azure. First I hosted my app service in the best settings, and then it was really expensive. And it's like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't really need it, but you wanted the best out of the best from the start.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that you should really look out for. That you're not trying to make it perfect all the time, because then it will never be done ever. You can just
And
keep
some smart ass
refactoring.
comes along and says that shipping is a feature, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Right? But
So
it
there
is
was,
true, right? It is true. You have to actually get something out there
yeah.
with your testers. And have you found that? And I think that that's an experience that I have heard about before. Is that you think you know what it's going to be like. You think you're right, and you
Hmm.
think everything is going to be the way that you thought of it,
Yeah.
and then you put it in front of some users, some intended end users,
Yes.
and they come up with completely different things, and you're like, what?
Yeah, yeah, that was also a very difficult lesson. I my first draft of this app was way different than how it looks now, and that was because of these user groups that I had. I did a lot of A/B testing as well with different screens, different colors, and
Oh,
I like colors, and I like everything shiny and intense and fancy. And there were a lot of features of which I thought were amazing. Um, and then my user group just didn't like it
oh
or
no,
didn't see the need for it. But also, on the other hand, there were a lot of features that I didn't think of that they told me, like,
that they
oh,
need it. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
really need this. So I think
Hmm.
that's also a very good lesson to learn. It's like ask feedback from the start. Like,
Feedback early, right? Ship
yeah,
something, even if it's not perfect, it's not going to
yeah,
be perfect. And then, and first of all, you may have overspent a lot of time on it, thinking that it actually is perfect, and then you put it in front of people, and they tell you that it's shit.
exactly.
Right? It's like, so feedback cycles, having reference groups,
Yes.
get it out there, test it often with people, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you have to do that. I think that's the most important thing. I think there are two things important of getting the startup off the ground. Is like,
Mm.
yeah, you really have to be passionate about it, because it's gonna cost you a lot of time,
Oh yeah,
and you're gonna hate it sometimes. Really hate it. You're gonna have to do a lot of things you don't want to do, and ask feedback early on, because
yeah.
otherwise you're spending all this time to things that might not even be worth shipping.
Yeah.
Um, and
Mm.
yeah,
So
also,
I just thought of something. Do you have this like Azure for startups or startups some support from Microsoft or something?
I
Um,
did, but because my project took like way too long, I got out of I just like recently
okay,
wasn't extended because
okay,
I took way too
okay,
long.
but still,
But
you have
yeah,
had it. The
yeah,
startup thing. So there are all the major vendors have startup programs that
yes,
they want to use to support and get you into their tech. I guess you were an easy sell because you were already into Microsoft tech,
exactly.
so you didn't gain a
I
new
was.
customer there. It's like, but still counts.
Exactly. Yeah, in Microsoft has it. I know Amazon, Google,
Yeah,
MongoDB, they all have these programs where you can just sign up, send your idea, and then they will check it, and then they give you sponsorship in the form of credits, so that you can use
right.
their services for an X amount of time. Most of the time, it's a year, or when your or when you're out of credits, and that could really help you to get started and to yeah, to help building your app. What I noticed though, on the other hand, is that because if you have those credits, you get quite how to say, sloppy or easy with
Hmm.
spending money.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah,
Because now
so
I have
now,
all this stuff,
yeah,
and then it
exactly.
runs out. It's like,
Exactly. So now I have all the stuff, and what if it runs out? Like, what if you don't have it anymore? Because there's an expiration date. It lasts a year, sometimes two. And for me now it was at the end of I was at the end of my expiration date. So then I really had to reevaluate all the things I was spending money on.
Interesting.
And that made me take a couple of steps back, because then I had to check, okay, do I really need to spend this money? And if I am going to spend this money, it will be out of my own pocket, of course, but I also need to create a business plan which makes it sustainable, because, well, I'm shipping a product. I have to make money somehow. And that has to be enough money to keep the app alive. I mean, I can like if I don't have more than 100 users, I can pay for it myself. But if it has 100,000 users over the next couple of years, I need to be able to pay all the Azure things I have to pay. So, yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, that was strange. Something happened with my. I don't know why. I said monetize. I said you have to actually
Yes,
then monetize it as well.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the other thing that makes it difficult, because a lot of developers have a project which they are passionate about, right? But building it to a real company or a real startup, um, there are other things you have to think about that you have never thought of before,
Yep.
like legal stuff. I had to like set up an agreement, a user agreement, and a privacy policy, and I had to look at all the
Right.
privacy laws and things like that. And that is so incredibly boring, but you have to do it because that's part of it. And that's
That's
why I
not
was
why you
saying you have
started
to be
it.
very passionate about it, because
Yeah, yeah.
this stuff is boring. And knowing how to do taxes, and of course you can
Yep.
hire people for it, but well, if it's
And
just
then
like,
there's like data privacy stuff, right? You're
mm-hmm,
handling people's data, and it's kind of,
yeah,
in a way, a little bit sensitive as well, because
yeah,
it contains their medical information in a way, right? What they're allergic to and stuff. Like
yeah,
that's
exactly.
some
So
level of data that is kind of sensitive.
exactly. So
Mm.
those are other things that you don't immediately think about when you're just like creating a nice app or a nice product that you're, yeah, passionate about on developing. But
Mhm.
yeah, they are very important, and you have to spend time on that as well. So uh,
Mhm.
don't forget it if you're
Oh,
if
of
you're
course. There
thinking
has been,
about
yeah.
creating this kind of things.
There has been so many good pieces of advice scattered literally over this whole episode that I can't like. Can you think of something else before we start closing out this episode? Tips and tricks, like what things that what should people do if they want to start to take their passionate dream and make an app and a startup, and what should they think about?
Um, I think the most important thing is ask for help, ask others,
Ah,
because at first I was very because it was an idea that wasn't there yet. I was very protective of it. I didn't want to
mm.
tell to anyone, because I was scared they're gonna steal
Oh,
my idea. But I learned through time that by asking for help and asking other people what they think of the idea, that the idea was how to say it, evolving into a better idea and eventually in a product. And I also got a lot of help from other people who had specialties I didn't even know about. But if I didn't talk about them, if I didn't talk to them about my app, I would have
yeah,
never known that they had
they
this
would have
knowledge.
never known. Huh.
No,
That's a great piece of advice. I love that.
yeah,
So find some people and just talk about it, right? Because
exactly. Yeah,
they might call you out and say that's a really bad idea.
exactly,
Right?
exactly. And that's
Yeah.
good feedback. That's good
It is
feedback.
good feedback. You can choose to ignore it if you like.
Exactly. You can still ignore it and do it anyway, but
Yeah, right. But at least then you have it. All right.
Mhm.
Anything else that comes to mind? You have to learn about the taxes and the admin stuff, and then how to
Yes.
run a company and the rules and the regulations. That's
Hmm.
maybe not the original reason why you started the startup, right?
No, no, but it is very important. And
Very important.
yeah,
Right.
but those are the things that you also have to think about
Hmm.
when you want to sell something.
But I love the asking advice piece. That's
Yeah.
really good. So anything else that you think of that people should do? You want to start up? What have you been
Mm,
doing in your startup that you were surprised? Like, am I doing this? How is this possible?
Well, somehow you become an expert or an expert. You have to know a lot of things.
Mm,
You have to think about security. You have to think about how to set up your database, build an
mm,
API, build an
mm.
app. These are normally in like a company jobs that are separated. So there's front-end developers, back-end developers, database engineer. There's an architect.
Yeah. So
But now you
in
have
your
to do it
startup,
all.
are you like a one-woman show, or what's
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Yeah,
I have
very
to
cool.
do everything. So that's it's also a very great way to learn a lot, but it can also be very
Learning
overwhelming.
experience, yeah. Even if this app doesn't make you a billionaire, you have a lot of experience from it, right? And
Exactly. I have
the
learned
next
something.
one, the next one totally will make you a billionaire.
I hope so.
Maybe the first one, but who knows? That's going to be a unicorn if that happens.
Yeah, it will.
All right, very good. It's been so great to have you on the Cloud Show. But as you know, these are quick episodes. We talk about one thing for about 20 minutes, and that's it. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and talking about tech and talking about startups today. I loved it.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure. And audience, we will see you next time on the Cloud Show.